the LP is getting a lot of attention right now, and I'm wondering what compelled you to come down here and speak to the people here. What are you thinking?
Well, I've always had an affinity for libertarians. My approach to the environment was always a free market approach. You know, I started working for commercial fishermen on the Hudson River in a blue collar community on the Hudson River, and I worked most of my career has been working for commercial and recreational fishermen who were capitalists, free marketeers. And I understood pollution to be a subsidy and an assault on the market. So that was always my approach. I've talked about it for 40 years, and about about a lot of I'm anti-war, which is one of the key sympathies of libertarians. I believe in personal freedoms, the Constitution. So, you know, I think that libertarians themselves are not united about anything. I had a friend.
Feels over nothing.
Yeah. I had a friend called Peter Bayhuth who ran Greenpeace for many, many years. I went camping with him for about 3 weeks. We had a campaign down in Mexico years ago trying to stop Mitsubishi from building a big salt mine and a whale sanctuary down there. And I ended up in a tent, got to be very close to him, and he ran Greenpeace. I said, "Oh my! What at one point? What's it like running Greenpeace?" And he said, "It's like being in charge of 1.2 million people, and the only thing they have in common is they all despise authority." and that's, to me, the libertarians always seem, you know, like that. It's a very democratic and kind of chaotic version of democracy. It's the opposite of the duopoly, you know, which are now these kind of top-down tyrannical systems that are run by corporations, by BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, and the pharmaceutical companies, and the big war companies, the big military contractors, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Lockheed, and the oil and coal companies. They're all taking money from the same people, and it's all this kind of very, very top-down systems. And the libertarians are the opposite of that. They're bottom-up. They're all iconoclastic. There's no real unifying theme except for, you know, freedom, which I like a lot.
And their view of freedom is very differently.
Very differently.
Some people here think there should be no borders.
Yeah.
Some people here think there should be strong borders, and they both argue that it's freedom.
Yeah, that's right. They're the kind of extreme versions. First of all, I think their minds are really interesting because, you know, that they, first of all, they're very thoughtful. They do critical thinking. They are completely, fiercely skeptical towards authority, which I like a lot. They're skeptical about any orthodoxies or official pronouncements, which I enjoy. And then they have the really extreme authority or libertarians have this kind of the system worked out in their heads that, you know, that works for them, where everything should be privatized.
Right.
And
I don't agree.
No, I don't agree either.
Yeah.
I don't think you can privatize the commons. So I think capitalism works with private property, but there are certain assets that are, just by their nature, the shared assets of communities: the air, the water, wildlife, fisheries, public lands. And, you know, if somebody tried to privatize the Hudson River, it wouldn't be a good thing. You want public access to it. You want people to be able to use it for all different kinds of purposes. And so I think it falls apart. The philosophy, to me, falls apart in the commons, but I always enjoy talking with them about it.
Are you thinking that you're going to convince some of them to join you, vote for you, support you?
I think a lot of them are support. We've gotten good support from the libertarians from the beginning, so I don't know how much convincing they need. I think there's people who are adamantly against me because of my position on Gaza. I think that from the outset, that most of them are very, very supportive of my position on Ukraine, and I was one of the first national political figures to come out and say this war is a hoax. And and I think that, they like my free market approach to environmentalism and a lot of other stuff that I talk about. So we've gotten from the beginning, when I was campaigning in New Hampshire a year ago, the biggest, we were going to Freedom Fest, and the biggest groups that were, were we getting the best crowds, the most enthusiastic crowds were libertarian crowds. I lost a lot of them on Gaza.
What's your Gaza position?
My God, I'm against war, but I think in the last 100 years, we've only fought one war that I would call a moral war, which was World War II, because we were attacked. It was a defensive war. We were attacked by an enemy, an implacable enemy that was committed to the obliteration of our value systems, of our country, etc. And so, to me, World War I was a bad war, was a war of choice. My grandfather protested it, lost all of his friendships, lost a lot of relationships and business opportunities because of that. But I think the Gaza war, from Israel's point of view, is a defensive war. They were attacked. They were attacked not just on October 7th, but they were attacked for 16 years since Hamas took over Gaza. I'm very pro-Palestinian. I have friends in Gaza. I've been to the West Bank. I met with the Palestinian Authority leadership. I have an organization in Israel that's the only organization. It's a water protection group on the Jordan River that has Palestinians, Jordanian Arabs, and Israel Jews on it. I'm very, very supportive of the aspirations of the Palestinian people. I think Hamas is the biggest enemy of the Palestinian people. And, Palestinian people have, I just tell you this, have received more money, more than almost 20 times what Europeans received during the Marshall Plan. So between 1944 and 1948, we rebuilt 17 nations that had been destroyed in Europe after World War II. We spent in 2023 dollars, $626 per capita for all the people in those countries. In the last 30 years, international aid agencies have pumped $8,600 per capita to every single person in the Palestinian Authority, including a lot of people who aren't really there. Because the Palestinian Authority and UNRWA counts people who left long ago in order to continue to...
So would your position be not to send them any money? And would you also not send any money to Israel then, as president of the United States?
No, what I would do, what I think we should be doing is diplomatic solutions, but we should, I think we need to do a Marshall Plan for Gaza after the war. But I don't think that the war can end until Hamas is eliminated. I don't think you can be giving money to Hamas.
Yeah. So today, the United Nations top court actually just ordered Israel to immediately halt its operations in Rafah. The United States and the Biden administration asked them not to do this, and Israel just did it anyway. How would you handle the situation as president of the United States?
Well,
would you allow them to continue that? Would you allow American service members to be there?
American service members aren't there. Israel's
yes, they are. They're actually in the water. They actually set up a pier
on the
and a
beach
port, and now they're being attacked. So, as president of the United States, how would you handle the Rafah situation, and would you put our American troops there like they are currently?
No, I would not send American troops to Israel. But I would support Israel with arms and weapons. I think the International Court of Justice, part of the United Nations just has an ingrained hostility to Israel. And the United Nations has issued, I think, 14 condemnations in the last 5 or 6 years against Israel, one against North Korea, none against, any of these other nations that are, that are actually committing human rights abuses all the time. Israel is the only democracy in the Mideast. It's the only place where everybody can vote, whether you're Arabs or Jews. You have all the equal rights. Arabs in Israel can run for every political office. There's 10 Arabs serving in the Knesset. They're serving on every level of the judiciary. They have freedom of speech. They have freedom of religion. In fact, there's 27 nations in the Mideast, and 26 of them have official religions.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.